Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Chef Center. Tonight, we're taking a look at former roboticist turned chef Chris Parkey. He's only one of two remaining competitors in Spread Thin, the only cooking competition to feature peanut butter as the main ingredient. This week, he found himself struggling to keep up with the competition. First, he coated his cookbook in peanut butter. Then, he couldn't unscrew the jar to finish his recipe. He barely scraped by in the dessert round by giving the judges some Safeway cookies he found in his car. He'll have to shape up if he plans on winning in next week's finale.
As you can see, I've got a problem on my hands. If only I had an extra set of them that I could keep clean while I'm cooking.
I think I can lend a hand. I read a paper about using foot-controlled gestures in the medical field. I think they could work just as well in the kitchen.
We can use the Sphero sensors as the input. Then, when you're ready, it can read the instructions to you out loud.
That all sounds great, but what do we call a collaborative robot that helps you in the kitchen? I've got to train for the big cook-off, but let's take a look at each module, starting with the Calabatouille itself. The chef hat acts like a joystick, allowing the chef to easily push Calabatouille in any direction. The rubber band design ensures that he's always upright and ready to receive the next command.
The software will interpret these inputs and do one of three things. If the chef tilts the Calabatouille to the right, it will understand that the chef is ready for the next part of the recipe and read that step out loud. If it's tilted to the left, it goes back to the previous step. And finally, if it's tilted backwards, the current step in the recipe is repeated. Whenever the Calabatouille is reading a step that reads a new ingredient, an IR signal is emitted to the arm.
This IR signal gets interpreted by an Arduino and sent over USB to the Raspberry Pi that controls the robotic arm. The arm will then pop open the lid of whatever ingredient the current step requires and hand you any utensil you might need. This ensures that the chef won't have to touch anything unnecessary with their messy hands.
If you're just tuning in, we're live at the finale of Spread Thin, where Chris Parker just took home the $50,000 prize. Let's take a look at some of his highlights. This challenge was an American classic, peanut butter and jelly. Chris got off to a quick start when his Calabatouille started reciting the instructions.
Step 2. Place 2 slices of bread open-faced on a plate.
This is where things started to get messy.
Step 3. Spread peanut butter on the bread.
You can see that as Chris is applying the peanut butter, he accidentally bumps the Calabatouille, and it reads the next step and opens the jelly. But Chris was able to tilt the bot to the left, and it repeated the previous step for him. Big sigh of relief from Chris there. Let's go to the post-match interview and hear what Chris has to say about his win.
First of all, Chris, congratulations on winning the $50,000. What are you planning to do with the prize money?
I'm going to donate half of it to find a cure for peanut allergies.
What challenges did you face while preparing for the competition?
The Calabatouille holder took 4 versions to get right without breaking. Software integration was a mess since the sensor code was written in blocks and the rest of the code was written in JavaScript. And the arm was meant to use inverse kinematics to move to a point determined by computer vision, but we were never able to get that to fully work.
Finally, is there anyone you'd like to thank for this win?
Yeah, I want to give a huge shout out to my team. They had ideas whenever I hit a roadblock. I couldn't have built all these modules without their help.
Well, thank you, Chris, and congrats again on your big win. Congratulations. Back to you.
That's going to wrap up our show for tonight, but be sure to tune in tomorrow for our live coverage of Gordon Ramsay's face-off against up-and-coming chef Tom Cruise.